Well, thank you to David and the organizers for having us. Rick and I are both from the Washington, D.C. area, and I'm an investor. I do angel and tech investing, and Rick and I have known each other for 20 or so years. We were involved in athletics, so we tried to buy a sports team years ago and bring it to Washington, but we were not successful.
The Expos, I think,
The Expos, right? Yeah. So now the Washington Nationals. But Rick has a fantastic background. He's one of our, he's a top entrepreneur. He's got a tremendous background in telecommunications and fiber optics and mergers and acquisitions, and now he's got a amazing robotic software technology that's changing the world. But before we jump in, we only have about 12, 13 minutes, but before we talk about the robotics company, let's give us a little bit of your background, your business background. You have a fiber optic telecommunications background. You know, talk a little bit about some of the things you've done there, and how does that tie to robotic vision software?
Yeah, thank you, Tien. Thank you for the introduction, too. We're really, really glad to be here, too. What an awesome facility, too. Actually, my background in fiber optics and my current career and love in robotic software, actually, they do connect. And they connect through what we call the last mile. We were one of the first organizations to start building fiber optic local exchange networks after the AT&T divestiture. And right now, I feel like what we're doing is we're building the last mile to robotic automation.
And what about Rick also has a very interesting background. He owned a couple of indie racing car teams, including Al Unser Jr. Can you tell us a little bit about that too, Rick?
Yeah, before we get to that, let me spend a little bit of time on the fiber optic, because that was what I was responsible for at our fiber optic company. It is relevant to what I'm doing now, and I want to share that with everyone. In the early 90s, we built fiber optic networks, local exchange everywhere. And we took the company public in the early 90s, and then we proceeded over the next 3 to 4 years to build or acquire over 20 fiber optic companies worldwide. And I was responsible for those transactions and roll-ups. And in '94, we actually acquired the only, at the time, profitable ISP called UUNet. They're out of Virginia, Northern Virginia. And at the time, we paid $2 billion for them. 6 months later, we got acquired. And we ended up selling the company in '95 and '96. And it was a blast. And then in late '90s, I had my own telecom company in Texas. And we had a very unique co-location agreement with Southwestern Bell. And at the time, the Texas Commission was trying to promote competition in their state. And so we entered into an agreement with Southwestern Bell where every fiber conduit they laid, we got 25% of the fibers. And so all of a sudden, overnight, we had a good central business district footprint in most of the major cities in Texas. And we ended up selling that company to a Fortune 50 company.
Great.
Oh, and then racing, yeah.
So racing, yeah.
Yeah, racing. Everyone wants to talk about racing. So when I got done with all that, I needed a rest, and so I wanted to become a race car driver. And I soon realized it's better than being an astronaut, right? I wanted to be an astronaut when you're older. But you know what? I went on the circuit, and I really started thinking hard about it because I saw 18-year-olds just kicking my butt on the circuit. And I said, okay, I love the sport. I want to get involved in it. How do I do it? And so my friend said, why don't you own a team? So I owned an IRL team. We had 2 cars in the Indy 500, Al Unser Jr. and Buddy Rice. And then I also ended up with Sheikh Maktoum out of Dubai owning A1 Team USA. And it was a Formula One team. And we went all around the world racing for 3 years. And it was a blast. And in that, and this is how it relates to what we're doing now, in that, I really became aware of the technology involved in professional motorsports. It really surprised me. And I started getting very, very involved in technology, which led me to this technology. And I actually purchased this technology in 2010. And we really saw that machine vision was going to drive the automation world. And automation since 2000 has grown 140%. And that is the umbrella market that RVT, our company today, plays in. So at 2010, we jumped in, and it's been a big dose of love ever since.
So, there's a lot of people that are in robotics, different parts of robotics, right? Hardware, software, et cetera. You guys do something very different and unique. What exactly is it that you do? And who do you serve? What industries and what kind of customers? I know you have some big name customers, but can you talk a little about that?
Yeah, that's a great question too. Robotic Vision Technologies is a software technology company. What we do is we allow robots to see, think, and do. We are the last mile to robotic automation. And think of it this way. We are the brains and the eyes, the vision for robotics, right? But we do it in a very unique way. Our eyes view the world in 3D, whereas others maybe 2 or 2.5D, and I'll explain that in a minute. But we see the world in 3D. What we do is we have object recognition for the process of assembly and manufacturing. And we do it in a very unique way. 5 minutes left? We do it in a very unique way. Okay, we're going to have to hustle through this. We do it in a very unique way, whereas our software is agnostic to robot and to all hardware. You can pick up a simple Gigi camera off the shelf, $340, and take a 2D image of a part, because we are in manufacturing world, a part, and our algorithms and our math in our technology actually creates a 3D image of it, okay? 2D is this way, 2.5D is this way, 3D is pitch and roll. And that's where we feel the world of automation is going. The world of automation is growing so fast and it's becoming so sophisticated. At the top of the pyramid in the sophistication is the world that we play in, 3D vision guidance robotics.
And that's very important to certain types of industries and clients or customers that you have, right?
Right.
Namely, are you able to name some of them?
They're major OEMs. We have over 300 installs with major OEMs in the world. Over 46 different plants and factories we're in right now.
Mostly automotive and aerospace?
Mostly automotive and aerospace, yeah.
Right. So is it safe to say that of the top 10 car manufacturers in the world, your technology is deployed in, can you say how many of the top 10
Probably
factories?
at least half of them.
Half, so that's
Yeah,
pretty good installation.
Yep.
So a lot of the cars being manufactured today, roughly your technology might have a role in half of them.
And especially the powertrain.
Powertrain,
Right. Powertrain, yep. But let me skip, because we're limited on time, but what we've done is we've recently diversified our customer base into what they call collaborative robot. Collaborative robots are small. Matter of fact, if I would have maybe planned a little bit better, I would have brought a couple of ours. But they're tabletop robots, and they actually plug into a wall outlet. And what they're called collaborative robots. We call them cobots, and they can work side by side with humans. The target market, and we just integrated our software into the biggest collaborative robot maker in the world, Universal Robots, and we're going to announce that probably in 2 months. But what they do is they work side by side with a human, and our target market is the SME market, small to medium-sized enterprise. And when we were doing our research on this, it was interesting and it was baffling. We discovered that 94% of all manufacturing in North America is through SMEs, defined as 100 employees or less. So that's the market that we've diversified into. And so we're in autos and general manufacturing.
And then you guys, can you talk about your capital raise?
Yeah.
We got a couple minutes left, just some high-level things about what you guys are doing in terms of growing the business.
Yeah, for the first time, really, we're stepping into the capital markets because I've pretty much bootstrapped the company since then, since 2010, myself and one of my directors. And we're stepping into the capital markets. We're raising $25 million in 2 tranches quickly. The first tranche, we're doing a convertible promissory note, and it's convertible into our follow-on offering, which will be $15 million, which we hope will be in a digital security. We're viewing that now. And the first tranche is going to be for organic growth, and then with that money, we're also going to look at 2 accretive and opportunistic acquisitions, which will lead to our $15 million, and the $15 million will be all for certain acquisitions that we've identified. And the overall plan is to roll up possibly up to 8 machine vision robotic acquisitions in the next 3 to 4 years.
Okay, and then we kind of wrapping up. How can people get a hold of you? How can people learn more about the technology, see a video, see a demo, or learn more about the investment offering, that kind of thing?
Yeah, they can go to our website, roboticvisiontech.com, and we have over 21 videos there, and we list our patents, and we list our all of our products there. We have 10 vision products all on the same platform, and our customers love that too.
Great. And if you guys have any questions about IndyCar racing or whatever, Rick is really an expert in that field. But thank you for having us. I think we're out of time.
Are we out of time? Oh,
You have a couple?
let's go.
Okay. All right. Well, you have a question, Lisa? What's your question?
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. In buried in the middle of our algorithms is a little AI and a little ML machine. And as a matter of fact, what we're doing now is we're sending one of our vice presidents of engineering, who's a Carnegie Mellon graduate, up to Pittsburgh. Matter of fact, it's going to probably happen next week. And he's going to be diving into AI and machine learning for us. And we're kind of looking at it as an extended R&D project. So we're headed into that. We are. We'll talk, yeah. That's great.
Great.
You want to do?
Anything else, Rick, you want to let our audience know about?
Well, I have a great best moment.
Okay.
It's a
What is
story
it
I
about?
love
You've
to
got a
tell, but
great
it might
career.
take a minute though, but it's cool.
Is this the Warren
Should I go
Buffett
for it?
story? Or?
It's the Warren Buffett.
Oh, you guys got to hear this story. It's a great story.
In 2005, I decided to put a car into the Indianapolis 500, and Allenser Jr. was my driver. And Geico Insurance was our sponsor, and of course Geico is owned by Berkshire Hathaway. And so I got a call from my marketing guy, Steve, and he said, "Wow, we just got a call from Geico. Warren Buffett would like your show car, at his shareholders meeting." And I said, "Okay, well, I've been going to Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meetings. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska since I was young, since it was 1,900 people going to it. Now it's 40,000. If you guys haven't gone to that, you need to put it on your bucket list. It's amazing." And so I said, Steve, I have no idea where the show car is, but if he wants it at the Berkshire Hathaway meeting, we're there. I said, "Please go find it." Got a call a week later, and Steve says, "Well, I got good and bad news for you." I said, "What's that?" He said, "The good news is we found the car. It's in Atlanta." I said, "Well, great, clean it up and bring it." And he said, "But the bad news is there's a button in the middle of these Formula car steering wheels. You push the button, which ejects the steering wheel. You put it on the top, and then the driver can get in and out of it smoothly because it's a tight little capsule, right?" And he said, "Your button is stuck. It's rusted. The steering wheel won't move." And I said, I thought to myself, well, who cares about that? This is a car. We the people. It was the A1 Team USA car, and it's going to go to a Berkshire Hathaway meeting in the basement where Warren shows off most of his operating companies. And I said, "Clean it up and take it." He said, "Okay." So we get there, we get the car. And what Warren does is he exhibits a lot of his operating companies in the basement of the Quest Center. I think they operate 48 operating companies right now. And so we were there with Geico Insurance, right? And our car was there. And we were so excited about it. We got a racing helmet, and we painted up in red, white, and blue. We had, Warren Buffett on a Berkshire Hathaway and the Geico Lizard or Gecko, whatever it's called. And we were going to present it to him. So he comes down at about 7:15 with Bill Gates. And there's just like 90 cameras, right? And he goes over to NetJets, and he says hello to those guys, and then and they were just right across the hall from us in this exhibit hall, if you will. And then he goes over to Fruit of the Loom, which he also owns, and he started playing a ukulele with an orange and a banana and a raspberry and just having a blast. And then we thought, okay, well, here he comes. And instead of coming into our exhibit booth, he circled the other way, and he went in an alley that was behind us. And we all looked at each other and said, well, you know what, we rolled the dice on this. It didn't work, but we had fun preparing. Then about half an hour later, he comes to our exhibit booth, right? And we present him with the helmet, and Tony Nicely, who's the CEO of Geico, is there with us. And we present him with the helmet, and then he says, "Rick, can I get into your car?" True story. And I thought, oh my God. And I mean, there is 90 people, they're reporters, it's like, this actually went viral for a little while. And I said, absolutely, absolutely. So he went to get into the car, right? And he stepped into it, and he got stuck. And I was sitting right beside him like this, and I noticed that what stuck was his wallet. And I looked, and I said, "Warren," I said, "you're stuck. Your wallet's too big." And everybody just cracked up. And I said, "Please take it out and give it to me." And so he took it out. Yeah, you're right. He took it out. He didn't give it to me. He gave it to Tony nicely behind me. And then he did what he does best. Then he got into this race car. He put the helmet on halfway, and he sat there and he said, "Buy Geico Insurance, buy Geico Insurance." It was the funniest thing, and that's one of my fondest memories. And there you go.
Well, that's great. Thank you, Rick. Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.